Well, it's the next day and we're still working on the van. As you know, our lives revolve around our bicycles, so everything in the van revolves around the bicycles. So let's stick them in and see how they fit. Interesting. So we're thinking of putting a seat here for passengers, but we don't want them to hit their head on this if we got in a crash. So we're thinking of leaving the top panels removable, but there's bikes there anyway. That kind of changes things. I was hoping we'd have more room back that way for the bikes. What do you think, Fender? I know I say this on every video, but the most time-consuming and thing that takes the longest when I build something is figuring out where everything goes. I think I have analysis paralysis. So we were originally going to put all the cabinets and storage on one side, and then we thought, wait a minute, we have the fridge there, we will have water there, and we will have tools there. All the weight's going to be on the left side. That's probably a bad thing. So then we thought, well, let's put the bed over here with the bikes and put cabinets on this side. But that doesn't feel right. So what I'm going to try now is upper cabinets here, all along this. Keep this here, bikes there, and then lower cabinets here. I think that feels good. It was starting to feel kind of boxed in. One thing that's really helping is having these cardboard cutouts and just kind of putting them where I think, walls are going to go, and getting a feel for how that feels in here. And that feels really boxy to have that there. So I like the idea of leaving it as open as possible in here. And we really, really, really want to be able to transport people. We like being able to shuttle with friends, and I'm going to try to find a way to make that happen. Finally at a point where this feels right. But there are some weird things about these vans. So in the back, these are super tight. And up front, there's a big gap. These vans get narrower at the back, and you can even see they're at the top of the window here, and they're like an inch below there. You'd never see it, but these are not rectangle at all. So interesting. Who cares? It's just a van. I don't need it to be perfect. I just need it to be solid and to not go anywhere. I'm going to be tying into these seatbelt holes and putting straps or wood or some sort of bracket to hold it all there. Get it really strong. I can also run nutserts inside of here if I need more. It's been a long time to get to this point, but I'm getting the bed frame, which is this top part. I'm getting it holding here without supports underneath, which is cool. And to do that, I've run a bolt into here into a nutsert and screwed these in. So, a nutsert, I'll get that tool in a minute, but it basically puts one of these in here, then I can bolt this all together. That's what's making this bed possible without tons of posts running vertically. Alright, this is a riv nut or a nutsert. It pops right in here, and when I tighten it, it squishes just like a rivet, and it gets fatter on the other side and gets stuck in there. Then I have a threaded anchor point. Pretty awesome technology. I made my own little tool off a YouTube video to install this puppy. Oh, it's raining. I hate the rain when I'm working on projects. That is solid. I can rock the whole van by that. Which means I'm ready to put this guy in. And this block's going to be sucked onto there and screwed into there. And there will be about 10 or 15 more of those on down the line to all share the load. And some are in a vertical plane, some are horizontal, some are pushing, some are pulling. It's going to be good. Okay, here's our corner support. Our bolt and washer. Going right in there. This is bolted to the wall. Now let's screw it into the wood. Alright. So if you yank on it, it's only as strong as the sheet metal it's attached to, but if I have other attachment points here, it's going to be super strong. I'm going to put more nutserts up in here. along there in different spots to kind of suck it all in. But that means we're not going to need the legs underneath to support it, which will be great. Buy us a lot of room, plus the van is so curved, the legs just take up a ton of room anyway. Teresa's tracing the outline for where the cabinet end is going to go, and that is a genius idea.
I mean, this won't be perfect, but it'll at least give me like a rough paper template that I can sort of kind of get in there. I was trying to start out with paper, but there's so many lines, it's just impossible. So hopefully this will help at least cut maybe 15 minutes off of it.
Oh yeah. This is a Night Eyes brand twisty tie. We'll put a link to those in the description. We use them a lot.
Them all the time. They help keep our hoses and cords and stuff wound up, and yeah, we use them all the time. They keep stuff so organized.
Meanwhile, I've been working on these brackets. They're kind of ugly right now, but I'm working on cleaning them up. They're 1/4 inch thick, so strong, and they tie in right here to the seat belt mount and hold the bed up. And the goal is to get all these vertical supports out of the way, and the bed will just be floating. I'll tie it in there, I'll tie it in there, I'll put another nutsert in, tie it in there, and we got 3 on this side. And that's really going to help things stay super sturdy up here. This bed is not going to go anywhere, which is great. And we buy a lot of room not having legs. Plus the legs don't really contour to the side because the sides aren't really straight anyway. I'm happy with the setup. I think it's cool. The plans are starting to come together. We've got our GeoTracker LSI seats in here. I don't think they're quite going to fit. I mean, they fit, and we could carry passengers in here with those. We'd obviously raise them up a foot or two. But that takes up so much usable space where we could be standing and changing clothes and stuff like that. So I don't think we're going to have comfortable seats for our passengers. We usually don't have passengers, obviously. But it's nice to be able to give guys a ride when they got a flat tire or something like that. And so we're going to have a less comfortable option for them.
Yeah, just something that'll allow us to do the quick shuttle here and there.
Bummer, but it's good getting everything in here to kind of get a feel for it. If we weren't living in it, we'd probably put the seats in, and then we're thinking leave the front panel off, and then when people come, put the panel on. That's kind of where we're stuck. If we're going to transport people, we can't have a bed right here, or they'll whack their head, so we'd have to take a sheet off while transporting, which is okay. But if we're not going to have seats at all, we're just going to permanently mount the bed so we don't have to fiddle with putting it up and down ever. Once the bed's in, that's going to be a huge milestone for me, because then we can just kind of ignore it and focus on all these other tactical things, like getting this attached to the wall, getting some storage for the boats and the stove and bikes and little things like that. This is exhausting, though, doing this every night, and especially when it's rainy and chilly, you just don't want to be out here, but... And today we took the Airstream to go dump the tanks, and we just were like, let's just keep driving and not come back. We missed the road.
I know.
We totally missed being on the road.
Yeah.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and we'll be back on the road.
I wouldn't have minded if I had more time to like visit friends and family while we're here, but since that's not the case, it's like, well, I might as well be traveling. But we're getting a lot done, so it's good.
We fit about 3 or 4 months of projects into this 1 month, including a 3-day paddling trip with a whole bunch of friends. So that makes things interesting. Actually, it makes things awful, except for the paddling trip. But, yep, that's where we are tonight.